What is an overly romanticized job? Librarian. Oh, you get to sit around and read in a nice quiet environment all day. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, no, it's like working in a kindergarten class for psychopaths. Knight at medieval times. Those guys start as squires and deal with tons of grunt work, and when they become knights, ours are still terrible, but now you risk very serious injuries during practice or during a show. All of my friends that have worked or work there have had multiple surgeries, broken bones, you name it. They do like having the spotlight on them, and they're like brothers but usually hate it after a while. This is a very specific post, never thought about it. For some reason some of my old co-workers got in their heads that my traveling sales job was whisking me away to exotic places and gourmet meals on the company dime. No. Unless you think Syracuse is basically Paris and eating a poorly wrapped burrito while driving because you don't have time to stop for lunch between appointments is fine dining. Sales is not sexy. It's a lot of drinking alone and working late nights in hotels with crap internet. If you have a family, it's hard on your partner because they're taking the kids several nights in a row. You'll miss a lot of you don't have the freedom to schedule around your personal life. I'm glad I got out. Saddest part for me was on the road one time going out to a solo dinner, as usual, and being sat with a candle and rose in the middle of the table. I looked around and saw every other table was a couple, and only then did it hit me it was Valentine's Day. From what I understand, private investigator. Bunch of boring research and chasing leads to dead ends. Nothing like any TV show. It's 49.95% chasing insurance scammers, with 49.95% following a cheating spouse, with a 0.1% looking for a lost family member or custody case or something semi-interesting. Chef. Lots of getting screamed at. It takes a really big person not to pass that down the line. Lots of work. Lots of expertise. Little pay. Little appreciation. Of the multiple chefs I know, all of them drink. Working at an animal shelter. Everyone thinks that you get to sit around and love on animals all day, but in reality you are exposed to a lot of death and the worst of human nature. And the pay sucks because people just can't quit it because they want to help. Chef. It's not all creativity and celebrity. It's almost entirely grunt work, danger, injury, and long hours resulting in missed time with family. I have a friend who works as a sous chef, and he assured me that while he likes cooking, the long hours is going to kill him in the long run. Film worker. Hours are grueling. Production doesn't give a frick about you. Good luck spending time with your kids, and most of us are addicts drunks. And the mass influx of cash followed by a dessert for any amount of time until you find the next gig. Veterinarian. Overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, extraordinarily high suicide rate. People thinks it hugging puppies and kittens and doing it all for the love of animals, then get pee when they actually expect to be paid and call them heartless money grubbing pet killers when they can't afford to treat their pet. Video game testing. I had a boyfriend who did it for several years, so I know all too well that it's a horrible job. You play the same 5 minutes of game over and over again, hundreds of times, sometimes thousands. The job kinda killed his passion for gaming, and as far as I know, he still doesn't play anything for fun. I do some testing for a game as a side job. I just need to play fairly normally for a few hours every time an update is nearly ready to go out, and even that has lost its charm quite quickly. I can't imagine it would be any fun doing it full time and just testing the same small sections repeatedly. Animator. The field is unbelievably competitive and the work is more difficult and mentally draining than anyone outside the field would ever guess. Wouldn't trade it though. Don't truenet format on truenet format and truenet form. Frick. Humanitarian work overseas. People imagine you selflessly save starving babies. In reality it's a commute to a desk job and staring at a computer all day. Wow, I had to scroll really far to find this. I do data management for non-profits. Everyone thinks it's so impressive and I must love it, but it's low pay and boring AF. All I do is attend meetings and build reports. Academia. First of all, most people undergrads call professors untat actual professors, by rank, and people who aren't professors are likely not getting paid a whole lot above the poverty line, have few to no benefits, have little to no input on what they teach or how, not to mention having to put up with nonsense I've not seen or heard of in any other field. The amount of unpaid labor that goes into getting a single article published is unreal. Working in music, most of the industry runs on contingent and part-time workers. Full-time jobs are difficult to get, so if you're one of the others, you're constantly chasing your next gig. During busy parts of the year you're too busy to have a life, and the slower parts of the year you're broke. I worked in it for 4-5 years. It was a lot of fun though. Architect. Seems like lots of good rom-com boyfriends are architects. In reality, the hours are long, the stress is extremely high, and pay is really poor for a skilled profession. Fashion. Why don't you have your own brand? B. Do I look like I can afford to ship a container of shirts made in Pakistan for 3 cents to compete with some fashion conglomerate? Everything at fashion sucks. Anyone can do it with no degree. Pay is crap. Hours are crap. People are bitchy and soulless. The industry is shameless and zero conscious at sustainability. You will work and study very hard to lose a position to a model-looking daughter of some rich guy. It's basically become a profession for rich girls who don't know what to do and like consuming goods. The very few people who make it usually do it for reasons other than talent. I work at a Domino's delivering pizza, and everybody acts as if it is the most embarrassing job, but I love it. I basically get paid $20 an hour on average. My friend works in education and she spent 30 minutes bitching to me about how freaking horrible her new job was after she just left her last one. She said something along the lines of how on her second week she told her superior that she will quit if she is not treated right. Sounded a little like a threat. So I was like, you know what, if you go back to getting a job in a different field, even if it is serving tables, and take a break. I work a tipped position and honestly I like it a lot more than my graphic design job. And her tone was like so condescending towards the idea of it, like she felt shame at the idea of having a job similar to me. Anyways, she's the one who hates her life, not me. This is completely off topic to the thread, but I'd say a job that is not romanticized that I enjoy is delivering pizza, even at age 32. EMS, i.e. EMTs and paramedics, were not some heroes who save lives. Saving lives is about 10% of the job. The other 90% is dealing with a broken healthcare system, getting paid minimum wage, dealing with patients who don't need help and abuse the already broken healthcare system, and if you're lucky, working for a company that doesn't give a crap about you. How has this not been said already? Video game developer. So many people want to go into video games thinking they will get to design a game. The reality is 99.9% of people that work on video games get no creative input at all. That just make playtest assets exactly as they are told, all the while being forced to work 60-70 hours a week in a terrible work environment, with crap pay compared to other devs. Also, so many people also want to make games, without understanding the work that needs to be done learning first. Writer. You picture yourself at a typewriter in a cabin by a lake, crackling fire in the fireplace, a golden retriever asleep at your feet, and a glass of Lagavulin in your hand, dreaming up the next great American novel. Contrast that to reality, where the writing jobs that actually pay the bills usually involve long nights and weekends sitting in a cube farm writing the instructions that come with a toaster that nobody will ever read while your spouse fricks her. Co-workers. Oh dear. If it makes you feel better, I did read the instructions that came with my toaster. Not that it's romanticized, but advertising got a bunch of spotlight when Mad Men came out, and it's nothing like that. It's looking at data and managing spreadsheets and whatnot. It's heavily technical and process oriented these days. Can confirm. Was so excited to start my career at a giant media agency, until I realized media planning was literally staring at an Excel sheet and making numbers go vroom. Was fired after 3 months for being terrible at my job, lol. Military. It's 99% standing around waiting to hear orders from a bordering on inept superior. The paperwork is never ending. You'll long periods of time away from home and will probably get divorced. Also, your knees and back will go to crap. Like my first sergeant used to tell me, hurry up and wait. Writer or journalist. They don't show the missed deadlines, the agonizing creative process, selling out to write clickbait, or the crappy wages. Not everyone can be Carrie Bradshaw. Trucking. In over 42 plus years I saw the finest warehouses in 43 states and 2 Canadian provinces. There are zero shows movies accurately showing trucking for what it is. It's a soul-sucking exercise in frustration. There are positive aspects in that you can generate a decent paycheck without extensive education or advanced training. All it will cost you is your soul, your friends, your family, and your health. You son of a bee, I'm in. Animal husbandry. Animals don't know if you're helping or hurting. They peck, scratch, and bite regardless. And so many bad smells and disease. Oh, the disease. It doesn't matter if you're not raising them for meat. I wouldn't recommend getting attached. Chances are one of their organs will just decide to fill up and they'll starve themselves to death. Throwing zookeeper in with this. No, I don't swim with the gatters, ride elephants, pet monkeys, and nap with tortoises all day. I am a 4-year biology degree plus multiple years experience to get hired barely above minimum wage pooper scooper and water bowl washer. Bartender. Late nights, long hours, inclination to drink, customer expectation for free crap. All it does is make you want a stable job. Best example of money isn't everything. The alcoholism was real when I bartended. Bartender. Doling out poison to lonely people until they reach a point where they don't hate themselves and feel comfortable participating in society. Watching others slowly and subconsciously shorten their time while numbing the pain of an unfulfilling existence. It is pretty good money in the US for unlicensed therapy. The trades. People on Reddit seem to pitch it as the only sensible career choice, but a lot of them will just destroy your body. I know a guy with a desk job who used to be an electrician. He opted to go back to school, get a business degree, and took a huge pay cut when he looked at the older guys who were electricians. Their bodies were shot. Reading this thread, I'm starting to think work in general is overly romanticized. Our culture is to the point where people sacrifice their relationships, their time, and their happiness in pursuit of a misrepresentation of a career they chose. I think a lot of people feel so committed to their choices and pressured by society that once they realize that their job isn't what they expected, they just white knuckle it to retirement. Airline pilot. People think you area like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can, swaggering through the airport, wearing sunglasses, surrounded by hot flight attendants. In reality, we're like glorified bus drivers whose job is 1% excitement and 99% absolute boredom, just sitting in a cockpit waiting for life to pass by. Military pilot here. People can't wait to jump ship to the airlines because military life sucks. This post made me sad. Healthcare. Maybe not so much since the pandemic has shown a spotlight on healthcare, but being a nurse, RT, doctor, CNA, EVS is hard work physically, mentally, and emotionally. I always found the sexy nurse thing funny too. I can promise you nothing I did on my shift today was sexy unless you're into poop, dead bodies and sputum. The last thing you should want to do is touch me in my scrubs. Journalist. Long hours, weekends, holidays, middle of the night. Pay sucks, especially in non-profit journalism, and being so plugged into the news every day is depressing. I worked in journalism for 16 plus years. Maybe I did it wrong, but never once did I sleep with sources to get information, nor did I ever blow some giant story wide open. And worst of all, I met zero superheroes. TV and movies lied. Mad Men did a good job romanticizing advertising as a field, and writing big creative projects in general. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fun to be had in advertising and opportunities to swing for the fences and maybe even have a client agree to open their checkbooks and do something earth-shaking. But like 90% of the time, copywriting is prescriptive stuff like just writing a dozen headline options for a website banner or in-store signage, and banging your head against the desk when legal takes your clever wordplay and neuters or corporatizes it because of concerns it'll cause them some frustration as written. That's why you have to make the most of the big chances, and not take it personally when most of the job isn't those big chances. I've met a few egos along the way who get way too frustrated doing the unsexy work. Marine Corps, specifically infantry. It's very overly romanticized. Commercials make it seem like all we do is run and gun, shoot and blow stuff up, but in reality you'll spend months just sitting on your butt doing nothing. And if you're one of the new guy, boots, then you'll be cleaning all day every day, mopping and sweeping. Anything that results in fame or celebrity. I dated a high-profile actress for a while. It's a difficult thing to navigate, even by proxy. Oh, how I'd love to hear some more details about dating her. The only stories I get are what publicists put out there, which I know is skewed. Touring professional musician. I'm not talking about the guys on top who fly in private jets and stay in 5-star hotels, although it's not always easy for them, believe it or not. I'm talking most of the bands you've seen anywhere. It's often grueling and lots of running around catching flights, if you're lucky, or getting in the van or bus at 5:00 AM after a crappy complimentary breakfast at the hotel where you shared a room with the bass player, then driving all day with a break for crappy fast food and getting to the venue just in time for load-in, which you often have to do yourself. Then there's sound check and a quick dinner at another fast food chain with no time for a shower before you rush back to play the show. You put on your stage outfit, which smells like sweat, beer and grime from the last 3 cities. After the set you man the merch table and talk to a few fans, sign some CDs, count the take and try to find Wi-Fi to catch up on emails, pay bills, etc. Speaking of bills, you count the take from merch and have almost enough for that. You hang around forever for the venue to pay you. If you've got a tour manager, he'll do a lot of this stuff for you, but it's still a pain. Good news though, the hotel has laundry machines so you can either get your clothes clean or catch up on sleep. You can only choose one. Get up and do it all again. Yes, it can be fun, but there is a lot of work that goes into it and it's not always glamorous. In fact, it's almost never glamorous. That all sounds fun as a 18-20 something year old. As a 30 plus that sounds like heck lol. Scientist, artist, chess player, musician. It's mostly drudgery, not brilliance, eureka moments, and the pursuit of passion. As an artist, it's mostly poverty. Geologist. In school you go camping, learn cool stuff about the earth and get to have all these ideals about saving the world. In a career you manage construction workers who dislike you at best and are often a field bee to collect contaminated dirt or test soil compaction on construction sites. Good luck getting a job without a very rough field component. I lucked out and work in mining, and at least get to do fairly interesting work often, but it still is a drag compared to what I thought I'd get to do, and the people I went to school with are drowning in rough jobs or unemployed. Anything with work travel. It sucks. I used to go to France a lot for work. Ooh, must be nice. I'd love to go to France. Did you go to insert landmark attraction? No. I went to do the same job in a different place with worse food and harder to understand people. Really surprised people aren't saying this. University professor. If you work at a non-research institution, it's not all that bad, but it's when research is expected, it becomes a slog. There is so much work to be done and so little time to do it. You're almost always working late, grading papers and exams in your own private time at home. Academia is a huge dong measuring contest. 2. Everyone is fighting to prove they're the smartest or that their intelligence is valid. It can quickly become a cesspool of narcissism. The environment is incredibly cutthroat. Even worse, any profit gained from research or whatever almost exclusively goes to publishers and administration. Professors themselves see very little of it. Doctors work long hours. They often don't really get breaks. They have a huge amount of debt to pay off from school, and the insurance they have to maintain is ridiculous. They don't make nearly as much as they should, but they still make a lot more than the average person. This goes double for nurses, but they make even less money. My brother and his wife are brainwashing their teenage son into desiring a medical career. I say brainwashing because he has absolutely no desire for it aside from they make lots of money, and I tried to remind them about school, competing for openings, debt, long hours etc, but they just go off what their friends of friends say about it. He will learn like we all did eventually. Pilot. The job is demanding. Airlines will abuse you and you will be thrown out at the slightest freak up medical issue. However, it's a very rewarding field, despite the being away from home and being worked like a dog. If you like work, then it's a great job for you. Most pilots you see as airline pilots Cargo pilots or other commercial jobs have worked years to get to their position for seniority. That alone is a great accomplishment because it means they spend countless hours in the seat while spending more than what should be for even a college tuition. Behind the glitz and glamour of a proper uniform is a tired, overworked person who went hungry last night before bed because he arrived when all the places closed. However, he loves where he is at because he can say he did it with a good salary too. Every time I think about how far I have come, I keep bringing up that quote JFK said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard, because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win, and the others, too." I never really understood what he meant by it until I started working and flying more. Working to fly, fly to work. Being a famous fashion designer, there is a lot of stress to make and sell product at a pace that gets faster every year. Some of the greatest creators like Alexander McQueen had taken their own lives. Martin Margiela left due to disillusionment and depression with his brand being corporatized. He has panic attacks still as shown in his documentary in his own words even though he's stopped working for over a decade. Helmut Lang left to do fine art and sculpture. There are many examples. Second this, even Kate Spade killed herself. Her collections were just so happy and cheerful but she was depressed from what I've read. You love your work and love to create but the business side of things are a completely different ballgame. A lot of brands are popular not because of originality but because of connections. Teaching. Yeah, you get summers, nights, weekends, and holidays off but it's the most frustrating, mentally and emotionally draining job I've ever had. You aren't paid enough for what you have to endure. Can't believe I had to scroll so far to find this. It's way tougher than I ever imagined it could be. Professional gambling, poker players, card counters, sports bettors, etc. I know several who make their living from this, and they lead relatively boring outside lives with the same work hours as a car salesman, nights and weekends. A casino atmosphere gets old quick when you're there all the time. I work in a casino and have worked in 2 now to this point. Professional gamblers are few and far between and tend to be entirely unhappy and unruly. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.